No, it's good.
Hey everyone, Phil Barrera with the Wait For It podcast here at Collective Con with my guests Ryan and Adam from Thank the Maker podcast. How are you guys doing here this weekend? And thanks so much for doing this.
Great. How are you?
Doing great. Busy.
Yeah, we're pumped. We threw all this together very last minute.
It looks great.
Didn't know if we were going to be able to make it, and so we just scrounged up everything we could fit from our houses. Respective houses.
Yeah, is this all PC? Is this all personal collection stuff?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it looks great. The setup looks great. We came by on Thursday to get our badges, and we saw this setup. We're like, oh, who's gonna be here? And it's you guys. So we're excited to have you. Yeah. So what led you guys to go? Of course, making music and all that is its own beast, and then now tackling a huge fandom such as Star Wars. Obviously, you're a very big fan. So what was it like transitioning into the music space to getting to nerd out over obviously what is a really clear fandom for you guys?
It's the reason we became friends. Our bands came out right around the same time. Our first kind of breakout albums were released within a month or so of each other. So we had this kind of unspoken rivalry between our bands, and we never actually became friends. But years later, we toured together. We were in Australia actually, and connected on first Lost, and then of course Star Wars, and became great friends from there. And at some point, kind of leading up to the pandemic, I started thinking about doing a movie podcast. Ryan was all in on it, and then literally the day before we were going to record the first episode, Ryan called me and said,
I just sat next to Ashley Eckstein on an airplane, and I think we should do a Star Wars podcast.
Yeah, we were going to do just kind of, the movies we grew up on, action movies, sci-fi, fantasy stuff. And then he said, what if it's just all Star Wars? And I was like, I don't know, is that enough for a whole podcast?
Oh yeah, okay. You're talking about the day before we were supposed to record. Yeah. Sorry, I sat next to Ashley on the day we dropped our first episode, which was crazy. She ended up being on the show and has brought us lots of other real Star Wars guests. It's been incredible. So we're just bros with Ahsoka Tano now. But that's right. One of the things for me was with the original idea we were kind of floating around was, I just kind of felt like personally, from a time management standpoint, I felt like a little overwhelmed needing to have the real estate in my brain for multiple different genres and films, and we both are just so invested in Star Wars and how it's shaped our lives and who we are as people that I felt like I just suggested it selfishly to make it easier for myself if we could just focus on Star Wars, and Adam was open to it, and we just were off and running after that. But yeah, the random getting seated next to, I got upgraded on a flight to either to LA or to Orlando. I was going one way or the other, and I sat next to a nice blonde lady in full Star Wars gear, and it was the day of our first episode. And we just got to chatting on the plane, and she finally told me who she was, because she's a voice actress. So a lot of people know what she looks like. Obviously, I didn't, and I had just recently powered through all of the Clone Wars too, so it was very fresh for me. But she was like, I was like, okay, enough about me. What's your thing? What do you do? And she's like, well, based on your tattoos, you're going to be pretty excited about this. But I voiced Ahsoka Tano for Star Wars, and I was just like, pardon? You do what?
Let me go first.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah.
And man, we've become great friends. She's a great friend of the podcast, and we've just done some really fun stuff together. And it was a big door opening early on in getting this going. So we're over 300 episodes now.
It was the Force.
It was.
Straight up.
There you go. And honestly, Star Wars is one of the few franchises that you can do this with.
Yeah.
But also, if you guys ever do want to do a Lost podcast, just let me know. I can also get it.
I would love to. The workload, just the lift to make that happen is so daunting. But yeah, I've thought about that many times.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what you talked about some of the guests that you guys have gotten to have on through some of the connections you've made. Who were say if somebody was finding the podcast for a first time, give us maybe one or two episodes that you would recommend they start with.
Oh man, do you know the numbers? The Ashley Eckstein episode is.
It's early. 20 something, within the first 100.
But-
We started by covering all the films. We went as a foundation for the podcast. We went through all of them, and she joined us for Return of the Jedi, which was really cool. So instead of just interviewing her,
Yeah, we just talked about the movie.
yeah, our shared love for that film, and same thing with Emily Swallow, who plays the armorer and the Mandalorian.
We did Empire.
I think Empire.
We did Empire Strikes Back with her.
Yeah, she's been on a handful of times. She's great.
I loved the James Arnold Taylor episode as well. That was a really special one. He does his Obi-Wan voice like just on demand for us. We didn't know if he would.
He's such a ham dude.
He like offers it up. He's like, no, I want to do it. It's. I will say we have very much morphed later on, or midway through, into being a family-friendly podcast. Once we realized we were getting like real guests, we stopped cursing like sailors. So if you would want your young ones, your younglings to listen to Thank the Maker, it's like episode 50. Just double check.
Ashley was the first one where we stopped dropping F-bombs.
Okay, so start from Ashley Eckstein's episode on, and listen to the ones before, just with a glass of wine and your partner by yourself, or whatever. But
Have that delineation there, and then move forward from there.
Lucasfilm and Disney to actually like what we do.
Well, how early did this fandom start? Do you remember what it was?
Oh man.
I've never known a time without Star Wars.
I don't remember this, but I was in line with my parents to see Return of the Jedi in '83 when I was 3 years old. So I don't specifically remember that, seeing the film and all from 3 years old. But just like Adam said, I don't remember a time in my life where it wasn't this important to me. So getting to channel it in this way and share it with people has been just awesome. It's just, yeah.
I think we're also lucky, maybe being like a year or two older would be the absolute, 10 years older would be optimal. You get to see it as a little kid, and then you get, your late teens, early 20s for the prequels, and then the sequels as an adult. So that experience was really cool for us. Like, I think about if the prequels came out when we were already on tour, how different it would have been versus like, us being, we were 19, we're almost exactly the same age when The Phantom Menace came out. So it reinvigorated the fandom before our attention was too pulled away.
Yeah.
So it's been like kind of perfect timing the way we've now gotten to this Disney era, which we both feel like is kind of like the golden era of Star Wars. We're getting so much that we didn't get back in the days. So,
hot take: more Star Wars is good Star Wars.
Listen, there's just so much to explore within this, for lack of a better term, universe. And maybe something's not everybody's cup of tea, but there is something there for you.
There's something for everyone. That's kind of something we talk about a lot and try to encourage that idea on the show, instead of just, instead of talking about the things we don't like. I think we give thoughtful critique in areas that we want to discuss, but we certainly take the road of someone loves this, even if I don't. And there's so much toxicity and so much negative energy, specifically in the podcast and YouTube space. Not just with Star Wars. I think it's with all pop culture, fandom, and it's it's like, I feel like those shows are always going to be the big ones because people it's like looking at a car crash when you drive by it.
It's easy. It's a psychology cheat.
But we're just going to keep fighting the good fight and be part of the resistance.
Yeah. And if we've been accused of being having toxic positivity, which I think is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like for us, like just excluding the negative stuff isn't being disingenuous about how we feel. If we cover a show because we want to cover what happened for the sake of the lore and anyone who wants to hear a deep dive, that's what we do. We don't act like we love things that we don't love. I do love the fact that all Star Wars is being made, period. I'll say that.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm in love with every single episode, but it's our job to give people a way to do a deep dive without having someone try to talk them out of liking it, which is what I feel like a lot of channels do. It's like, dude, what are you trying to convince people of?
It's similar to when I think I think one thing people get a little overwhelmed with is they think there could be too much and you have to watch everything. You know, the same thing kind of happened with Marvel. But that's the thing, is that you can enjoy these things one off.
It's such an amazing thing to consider. People are trying to pitch that you just don't have free will as a human being. Like people pitching that you because it's all there. What's bad about it is you have to watch it. It's like, no, you don't. You don't have to watch it all. If you start a show, why does it have to be Star Wars? It's like, if you start a show on any streaming service now, the way it's just all, more and more and more content, more than anyone could ever consume in their lifetime. And you start a show and you're not vibing with it. I do it all the time. I don't watch it. I'm like, well, I wanted to try that, but I didn't really connect with it. Like, you can do that with a Star Wars show. You really can.
You watched it, and then you move on.
Yep. And then you live your life, and this is something that you should just have fun and enjoy when you can. It's sci-fi, it's fantasy, it's an escape from reality, and it will always be that, no matter how much the actual toxic people want to change that, and try to shut it down. It will always be a place where people can find joy and connection through the fandom. You just have to be open to it and find people like us that are gonna say, well, hang out with us then. If you don't, you don't have to be scared to tell us. Come up to the booth and tell us you like that show. Like, I feel like people are genuinely afraid in some circumstances to talk about it with people because they're afraid they're gonna get chastised because there's so much negative energy out there. So
guilty pleasures are bullshit.
Yeah, it's just important for us to it's not, toxic positivity is not a thing. It's not a thing. The world needs positive energy. It's good to put it out, and it just
fact.
And if you don't want to watch a show, just go ride Rise of the Resistance for the whole day. That'll put you in a good mood.
Yeah, sure.
Are you Rise or a Smuggler's Run? Do we have a preference?
Rise, but I'm very pumped for the new experiences on Smuggler's Run.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. A little variety, because ultimately it is a giant video game. So the more you do it, it's like, you want to progress through a game.
Yeah.
So as much as I love the end of the night at Disney, going just 8 times through, when the lines get short, Rise is it's a whole experience. To call it a ride undersells it.
There's something about I wish you could experience Rise the first time over and over again.
Yes. Like reset the brain.
100%.
Went through that experience, whereas Smuggler's Run can be a different experience every single time.
Yes.
And Rise is also, again, just ride it over and over again. But like that first time those doors open, you're like, what am I? Where
Dude,
am
I know. And the more you ride it, the more you do find fun stuff. I mean, especially for guys like us who like to kind of investigate and break down the fourth wall, and figure out how things are made and how they work. And Kylo Ren's always broken, and it's like trying to figure out how they, the way they've integrated solutions for that, and
the Imagineering, getting
really
trying to understand it.
I got to do a really cool thing last year. Yeah, it was last year. Got in the park at 6 o'clock in the morning with the Imagineering team that designed Galaxy's Edge. And they took us around to every little nook and cranny and showed us so many cool things that were deep canon nods they did that were that make sense in the story of Batu and Galaxy's Edge, and don't even have to live in which we're abandoning now, the timeline that they set for the park. They did stuff that's kind of timeless, that's just hidden, there's cracks in the ceiling for a reason, and there's so that was really fun to get to actually walk the streets of Batu with the Imagineers who built it.
Well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time. Please let everybody know where they can find Thank the Maker and going forward, and keep up with you guys.
We're at Thank the Maker Pod on, I was about to say everything, but mainly Instagram, a little bit of Twitch, no Twitter these days. And that's the place to find us. I guess thankthemakerpod.com.
Yeah.
That's also a thing. Yeah.
YouTube, that's where
and YouTube.
Everything will be linked in the description of this. And also, as a late 30s millennial, both your bands were a big part of me growing up. And thank you so much for the music you make, and now for this podcast as well. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Cheers.
you. Thanks, guys. We're here at CollectiveCon. Appreciate you. See you on the next one.
No, it's good.